Judge, you know what? Tell me who's going to be the first to pick up pitchforks. Who's the first to snap if these people keep playing games like this, Judge?
It's going to be a lot of people who have just had it up to here with the government. Let me tell you, the backstory on this census thing, as if the Democrats don't have enough control of Congress.
We're talking to Jane Lesko today, who is a very proficient researcher in her own right, and she got upset when somebody came to her door and said, I need the GPS of your door. We take all this information together. The military and law enforcement are behind it. The Census Bureau is lying to you. It's not part of the 2010 census. Now, what does all of this mean?
Well, we've talked to different ones that were in the military, and they're concerned that the military would be the only one that would really need this information.
Okay, so this is a military maneuver. When you start talking in terms of coordinates, as they said, this seems to be something to do with the military. Has anybody speculated what it might be for?
Roundup.
Take this into consideration. If we look at American history between 1942 and 1947, the data that was collected by the Census Bureau was handed over to the FBI and other organizations at the request of President Roosevelt, and that's how the Japanese were rounded up and put into the internment camps. I'm not saying that that's what the administration is planning to do, but I am saying that private personal information that was given to the Census Bureau in the 1940s was used against Americans to round them up. The United States government between 1942 and 1947 passed the Second War Powers Act. They used the US Census information to round up the Japanese and put them in the internment camps.
Systemic systemic fibrosis is known as NSF or NFD and has been linked to a dye used on patients for MRI tests.
That is the census worker with the GPS. With the GPS.
That can lead to joint pain and reduced mobility. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with NSF or NFD, you may have a claim to compensation. Call 800-958-75.
And I think there is a point when you say enough is enough to government intrusion. And you had mentioned this earlier, 28 pages. I have the survey right here, Glenn. This is the 28-page survey. This is the short form that every American will get next year. Does the federal government really need to know our phone numbers? Do they really need to know, like you said, the date and time that we leave, mental stability?
A congresswoman refusing to fill out the entire U.S. Census form, saying she doesn't trust Acorn not to mishandle the information.
People feel like the federal government is getting too big and too involved in our lives. And when a person goes to the website and looks at the questions that are being asked, our age, our race, our ethnicity, our telephone number, for instance,
right.
I'm very concerned about Acorn. They will come back and knock on our door and call us up to 6 times. If they don't get the information they want, then we're told by the Census Bureau they'll go to our neighbors on our left and on our right and ask our neighbors to give them information about our personal lives. This is very concerning.
What the hell? Who the heck are you? My name's Goliath. I'm with the United States Census Bureau. Sure you're not with the state police? Sure you're not with Lane County? Sure you're not with the city police? No, I'm telling you, I'm with the United States Census Bureau. I'll tell you how many men, because I know in my Constitution here it says you need to know how many representatives that my state shall have to represent me. That's all I'm going to tell you. 10,000 men, I tell you. Get out of here.
It was judges, not